Capital City Sports. I'm Jonathan Hilliard. Hopefully you enjoyed your Thanksgiving break, but don't worry, we'll get you caught up on all the latest sports action. Coming up on Capital City Sports, the Gamecock football team wrapped up the regular season last weekend against arch rival Clemson. Could Carolina break a 4-game losing streak to the Tigers? And the college football picture is clearing up. We'll catch you up on all the latest action and get analysis from the Capital City Sports Talk guys. The USC Athletics Department unveiled their master plan for facilities last week. We'll tell you what new developments could be popping up in the near future. And the USC Hoops team is heating up. We'll let you know what's next for Coach Dave Odom and his squad. That's all coming up on Capital City Sports. Don't go away. We'll be right back. It's been a while since the Gamecocks have beat their arch rival from Clemson. Could the Gamecocks finally break through this weekend and beat the Tigers in Death Valley? Capital City Sports was on the scene. The Gamecocks coming into Death Valley with a 6-5 record. Coach Steve Spurrier in his second game against the Tigers, who come in at 8-3. First drive, it's Blake Mitchell looking over the middle to his favorite target, Sidney Rice, who's in Clemson territory. The Gamecock offense was hot all day long. But it's Mitchell later in the drive, underthrowing Sidney Rice into the arms of C.J. Gaddis. By the way, he plays for Clemson. The Tigers take over. In the first quarter, it's Will Proctor. He's going to roll out to his right on this play. Looking deep, pump fake. He's going deep. Fred Bennett, cornerback, falls down into the arms of Jacoby Ford. He cuts back and off to the races we go. Jacoby Ford, a track champion in high school, gets the Tigers on the board early at 7-0 Clemson. Will Proctor's pretty excited, by the way. But can the Gamecocks rebound and come back? It's Corey Boyd up the middle. The running game was working as well as the passing game for the Gamecocks. He's got a first down. Now it's Mitchell looking for Sidney. First down Gamecocks. The Clemson defense just could not find a way to stop the Gamecock offense. Sidney with the first down. Now it's Blake Mitchell leaning over the goal line on 3rd and goal. He's got the touchdown. The game is tied, but it's C.J. Spiller. One move, and he is gone. C.J. Spiller goes 82 yards for the touchdown, and the Clemson Tigers take a 14-7 lead. Spiller, another track champion in high school, taking another look at it. One juke to the middle, and the safeties cannot catch up to Spiller. He will go all the way for the touchdown. And despite being outplayed in the first quarter, Clemson has a 14-7 lead. But it's USC coming right back. Blake Mitchell to Noah Whiteside, and he's got some room down the sideline to the Gamecock 40-yard line. USC moving the ball again. Now, Mike Davis getting his turn at running the ball. Corey Boyd and Mike Davis combined for over 180 yards on the day. And now it's Corey Boyd again. Up the middle, touchdown for the Gamecocks, and they answer the Tigers again. 14-14 now, late in the second quarter. Blake Mitchell looking. He hits Kenny McKinley over the middle. He spread the ball out beautifully on Saturday. Now it's Mitchell. The ball is batted, and Jock McKissick, the defensive tackle for Clemson. He's got the ball, and he is trucking down the field. Kenny McKinley trying to catch him. He will not. That's a touchdown for Clemson. And Despite being thoroughly outgained in the first half, the Clemson Tigers are going to take a one-touchdown lead. That flag would be on the Gamecocks. Take another look at it. Gaines Adams, the all-world defensive end for Clemson, with the deflection. McKissick recovers the ball in the air and takes it all the way to the house for the touchdown. And the Gamecocks, despite playing great in the first half, are down by a touchdown. But second half, 4th and 2, Blake Mitchell's pass is batted down by true freshman Ricky Sapp, and Clemson gets the ball back, and it's C.J. Spiller to the outside, and they're not going to catch him. He goes in. Clemson Tigers have a 2-touchdown lead, and that just might be it for the Gamecocks midway through the third quarter. But no, Blake Mitchell back for the Gamecocks. Hits Sidney Rice on the sideline. First down, Carolina, 20-yard line. Mitchell again with the play action. Now the dump in the flat to Mike Davis, and he will rumble down to the 2-yard line. The very next play, it's Davis again, and he is untouched into the end zone. The Gamecocks are right back in it, just a touchdown down midway through the third quarter. Clemson, the second play of their next drive, out to the tight end, and Emmanuel Cook puts the lick on. The ball is loose and is recovered by Jordan Lindsay. The Gamecocks get the ball back. Now it's Tommy Beecher in for injured Blake Mitchell, who just had the wind knocked out of him, it turns out. But he finds Kenny McKinley on the sideline, and he is juking to the other side of the field, and he's got room all the way inside the Clemson Tiger 10-yard line. But out trots Blake Mitchell back on the field, a relief for the Gamecocks. He gives it to Mike Davis. Up the middle, he goes skydiving. Touchdown, Gamecocks. Mike Davis with his second touchdown of the afternoon, and the game is tied. Let's take another look at it. Davis cuts back inside with a leap, holds his balance into the end zone for the Gamecocks. Game tied, and it's still only the third quarter. But Will Proctor picked off by Nathan Pepper, and he is rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, and fumbling. Fumbles through the end zone. James Davis strips Nathan Pepper, and he cannot believe it. Takes away a touchdown from the Gamecocks and gives the Tigers the ball back at the 20-yard line. You see the replay here. Davis comes up from behind Pepper, knocks the ball out. Ball goes through the end zone for the touchback. But the Gamecocks were able to hold and got the ball back. Now it's Mitchell to Rice down the sideline for 13 yards. They would convert that into a first down. Mitchell again, this time it's Corey Boyd up the middle. He's got about 19 yards on the play, and the Gamecocks are in Clemson territory. Now, Mitchell, was that a backwards pass? It's batted back. Clemson recovers. It looks like the Gamecocks will give it away again, and Clemson has the ball, but Coach Spurrier says, excuse me, Mr. Official, I believe that was forward pass. What do you think? Take another look at that one right there. And they do take another look at it, and indeed it is a forward pass, and the Gamecocks will get the ball back. And this time it's Ryan Suckup from 35 yards, and Ryan Suckup is money. 31-28. Suckup comes through for the Gamecocks. Could they hold on to the lead? They haven't been able to do it all year against a big-time opponent. Could this finally be the game against the rival? But it's Reggie Merriweather for Clemson on the ensuing drive. He's got a first down. Now it's C.J. Spiller. Clemson is stacked at running back. C.J. flying down the field for 24 yards. They've got another first down, but first and 10, James Davis, nothing. Second and 10, James Davis, even less. The Gamecock defense looking for that big stop, and now it's third down, and Jasper Brinkley gets a hold of Will Proctor along with Savell Newton, and that's going to set up what would be a game-tying field goal for Clemson. The Gamecock defense coming up big in the red zone with Jasper Brinkley. And as you can tell, Corey Boyd, he's a little nervous. Not wanting to watch, and it's Jad Dean, who has been so good for Clemson over the last few years. It is wide left, and let the party begin for the Gamecocks. Jad Dean, he's a little upset at this point. Coach Spurrier loving it, egging on the fans, and the Gamecocks storm the field in Death Valley. A huge win for this program. Spurrier thanked the fans after the game, saying he was giving them a game ball, and the players partying in Death Valley. 2 years ago, the Gamecocks lost 29-7 to the Tigers here in Death Valley in the infamous brawl game. The Clemson fans chanted, "We want Steve Spurrier," as they walked off the field. This Saturday, they got him.
Hopefully, whatever bad things happen to South Carolina football may be erased today. I sort of think back my first year at Florida when we won a game at Alabama, and we didn't play very well, but ended up winning 17-13, and that was a big turnaround game for Florida because they hadn't done all that much in prior years. So sometimes a game like this can do it, but time will tell if this is one we can look back on, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, and say that was a turnaround game. Time will tell.
Coach was saying it wasn't really a rivalry because they've been beating us for I think the last 4 or 5 years, but he said it's only a rivalry when we start to win. So we got us one, and it's going to continue to be a great battle between the two teams.
So it's a rivalry now?
Ask Coach. It's been a rivalry to me.
You got mixed emotions. I'm hurting right now, but I'm feeling good because, it meant a lot to this program to get a win for the fans and for the team and, just for the whole program and its all entirety. But, we had a different team, from my freshman year to my sophomore year and also from last year. And I'm just glad that, we finally got the chance to pull it out.
Coach Spurrier went as far as to call this a milestone win that could push the program up to another level. You agree with that?
I definitely agree. Whenever you could get in and beat your rivalry in their own backyard, it's also a confidence booster for the team and everything else.
The win for the Gamecocks is the first over the Tigers in the last 4 years, and their 7-5 record ensures that they will go to an SEC bowl game. For Capital City Sports, I'm Jonathan Hilliard. Coming up next on Capital City Sports, we'll get you caught up on the college football scene with more highlights. Then we'll toss it to the Capital City Sports Talk guys Matt Moore and Tom Bennett. That's coming up next on Capital City Sports.
McFadden. Say goodbye. Darren McFadden, 80 yards, touchdown.
It's almost December, and that means college football is coming to a close. Last weekend was filled with action-packed games, starting with LSU versus Arkansas on Friday afternoon. These two SEC West powers battling out in Little Rock. In the second quarter, it's Jamarcus Russell for LSU finding his man deep, and he will find the end zone. LSU takes a 14-6 lead early in the ball game. But Arkansas, always up for a fight. It's Casey Dick to wide receiver Marcus Monk, and he just refuses to go down. He would score, and that'll bring Arkansas back in this game. It's 14-12 LSU at the half. Now it's early in the fourth quarter, LSU up 17-12, and early Doucette comes down with the Russell pass in the corner of the end zone, and this one looks like it might be in LSU's control. But the next play after the kickoff, Darren McFadden up the middle, he is not going to be caught. That's 80 yards for a touchdown, and Run DMC is alive in Arkansas. That's right, you see the Hog faithful supporting their boy, McFadden. If he's not a Heisman Trophy winner, I don't know who is. But on the ensuing kickoff, LSU bringing it right back. It's Trendon Holiday, and he is going to take it to the house. LSU, that was a backbreaker for Arkansas. LSU is going to go on to win this game 31-26. Les Miles makes LSU the third SEC West team to go 10-2 on the season. Back to the SEC East. This is Florida and Andre Caldwell down the sideline for Florida. They would take a 7-0 lead over their arch rival, Florida State. Florida State having a down year, but still a huge game. Andre Caldwell slicking the hair back a little. Now it's Percy Harvin lining up at the quarterback position. Urban Meyer throwing in the tricks, and it's Harvin down the sideline. for 55 yards and a touchdown. The Gators going up 14-0 in the second quarter. It looked like this was going to be a blowout. But FSU would rally in this game. This is Lorenzo Booker for FSU. He takes it inside the Gator 5-yard line. And FSU is not done. It's Joe Surratt on the next play. He takes it in for the Florida State touchdown. They're right back in the game at 14-7 at home. Don't count the Seminoles out. Now, Drew Weatherford looking for Greg Carr in the end zone, and somehow he comes down with the ball. Touchdown Seminoles, and this game is tied in the fourth quarter. The Gators are saying, uh-oh. Gator fans not pleased with that catch, worried that they might throw away a shot at a national championship, but fourth quarter is Chris Leak to his favorite target, Dallas Baker, in the corner of the end zone. Gets away with a little bit of push off, but it's touchdown Gators. That'll make it 21-14, and the Gators would hold on.
Well, here's our style. Let's see, you got at Tennessee, you got Kentucky, who's 7-4, you got Alabama, LSU, Georgia, and Auburn, and at Tallahassee. So much for style. You know, you want to put that one against anybody in the country, let's go ahead and go. But style points are, that's what's wrong with. If that's what's making decisions, then I'm going to stand by my comment a week ago. Implode it. It's over. If that's what's making the decision, style points, which I imagine that's what it is, you got a problem.
Moving out west, it's USC in the first quarter against Notre Dame, and Dwayne Jarrett coming down with a touchdown catch early. Trojans go up 7-0, trying to lock up a spot in that national championship game. Later first quarter, Jarrett again, touchdown. It's just not fair on this play. The 6'5 specimen at wide receiver going up high. Defensive back never had a chance. Touchdown. It's 14-0 USC. But in the third quarter, Notre Dame trying to make it a game. That makes it 28-17 Trojans. But as the Irish are getting excited, the USC Trojans were just too much. And in the fourth quarter, it's John David Booty looking deep yet again for Dwayne Jarrett. Breaks a tackle. He turns up the Jets. USC would go on to win in runaway fashion. Trojans excited. Charlie Weiss, not so much. Trojans maybe national championship bound. Now for more analysis, let's toss it to the Capital City Sports Talk guys, Matt Moore and Tom Benning.
Let's talk college football.
All right.
Of course, we have to talk about the game this weekend. I'm not going to say much about it.
You're right. We got to talk about the game this weekend.
I'm just.
And by the way, you're not going to pull Tommy Bowden. You're going to mention the score in this segment.
You're going to let me talk. I'm glad that it was a good football game. I would have much rather, like Tom and I discussed, much rather it ended if Carolina was going to win.
Well, you said this.
Well, I was discussing this with you.
Okay. Make that clear.
If it was going to win, if Carolina was going to win, I would have liked to see like a Ryan Suckup made field goal instead of a Jad Dean missed field goal. Or I would have liked to see it go into overtime.
I would have liked overtime.
Carolina pull it out then. I don't know. I put no fault on Jad Dean. I don't want to blame Will Proctor. I blame him a little bit. But I put it all on Tommy Bowden. He's a terrible coach, and that's
true.
That's all I have to say. So y'all have at it as far as this game was concerned. What do y'all think?
Well, I mean, basically for me, it came down to who was going to suck the least on offense. That's basically what it came down to. That Blake, I mean, he wasn't always. He had his bright moments, you know, getting the ball to Sidney, but
handing it off to Mike Davis.
It was just. At one point, it just seemed like it was going to come down to which quarterback made the least amount of bad throws. And that ended up being Carolina. It was an awesome win. Did
you enjoy going on the field after the game?
That was awesome.
See,
that needs to happen in the SEC.
I'm just saying. ACC's got that figured out.
But, I mean, you have to give props to the O-line, beleaguered all year. Did a pretty solid job handling Gaines at him, although Blake was under quite a bit of pressure. But I don't know. I just thought it was a great win to kind of springboard into the bowl season, recruiting, all that good stuff. What do you guys think?
I think it was a great win as well. Anytime we beat Clemson, it's a great win. I agree with Matt. Tommy Bowden is pretty horrible. I don't know how you take out Reggie Merriweather when you take him out, but
2 carries for 17 yards.
Yeah,
let's get him out of there.
He was doing too good. You can't have him in there.
Coach.
First downs are the enemy.
Good call.
Yeah,
stupid.
As soon as C.J. Spiller left the game with that ankle injury, I knew we were winning. I just knew it. They weren't going to get a touchdown without him on the field. It just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, if anything, Clemson's got playmakers. C.J. Spiller's 80-yard run, Jacoby Ford's 76-yard catch. I mean,
he can move for a midget. I'll give him that. For a little person, those little feet, those little legs, they got small strides. I'm telling you, but he can cover a lot of ground.
Alex,
I hate that guy, by the way.
Wow, this continues to go downhill. But anyway, 31-28. That's all I'm gonna say. That's a beautiful number. I'm sorry. I'm homering it right now. I don't care. I'll put the garnet glasses on. I'll put the garnet tutu on if you want me to.
You certainly were doing that after the game. So
yeah, a little bit.
On the field. A little bit. Around like a little schoolgirl.
Hugging people, every person you could find.
Yeah, just a little bit. That was probably the happiest moment of my life. I'll probably never have one of those again. But anyway.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably
I'm just
not.
going to go ahead and tell you.
But, no, it was a heck of a – I mean, anytime a Carolina-Clemson game, a game that last year was so debated because it wasn't on TV, or it wasn't originally going to be on TV because nobody cared about it, all of a sudden it becomes an ESPN instant classic. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good in my opinion. So I was very impressed with the ball game. I was impressed with Carolina's offense, aside from the errant throws of Blake Mitchell in the first half.
Right.
And some of the errant throws of Blake Mitchell in the second half that probably should have been picked off. Thing about it was one of the throwing interceptions, he was throwing pretty good balls. I mean,
on some of them.
Yeah, on
the
most
first
of
two
them.
were really
like
the first one definitely he threw right to. I can't remember who picked it off.
Yeah,
Gaddis. It was Gaddis.
The first one was definitely an interception. The second one, don't know where that was going. The third one, that's Carolina football this year apparently.
Well, yeah, and
apparently the tip ball.
If Gaines Adams made a play in that game, it was that play, tipping it to. Oh gosh, I can't remember who.
McKissick.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He was fast.
Which, by the way, Jock McKissick can move apparently.
Yeah,
he was booking it.
He definitely
yeah.
Nathan Pepper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Poor fella.
Yeah. It took Kenny McKinley 80 yards to catch up to him. I mean,
yeah,
that's
some pretty solid downfield blocking by Gaines Adams as well.
Yeah,
he never even actually blocked. He just ran in front of Kenny McKinley the entire time.
But that was a great ball game. Now, I'm the first one to say it just because I firmly believe it. You take away Clemson's big plays, and you're right. Tommy Bowden is an awful coach.
Oh, yeah.
Because those 3 big plays, honestly, you go back and look at that game, and you take away blown coverages and blown assignments on that game, and that game is dominated by South Carolina.
Oh, yeah,
from start to finish.
But
that
one of
game
the
is
best
dominated
points
by South
I
Carolina.
heard about this game was that Steve Spurrier is coaching Clemson. South Carolina doesn't have a chance because Clemson's got the better players. I mean, when it comes down to it, if you break it down, I would say that Clemson's got the better players.
They have the better players overall.
Yeah, that's what I'm
saying.
saying.
But I mean, if you don't trust Will Proctor to throw a 6-yard out, how are you going to have him dropping back 5 steps?
I don't think Steve Spurrier is calling 6-yard outs.
That's
Steve
what I'm saying.
Spurrier's
Rob
handing
Spence
the ball
won't call
off
him
to-
either because he knows Proctor can't throw him.
Well, yeah, that's
my
Matt's point. If Spurrier takes over Clemson,
If Spurrier is coaching
Spurrier is
Clemson,
coaching Clemson, Proctor's not the quarterback. That's my point.
That's exactly. That's my point.
Here's the thing. In a game,
That's
in a
why I can't
rivalry
blame Will
game,
Proctor.
in a rivalry game where bowl jockeying position is on the line, Tommy Bowden does not trust Will Proctor enough to allow him to throw a pass, but Steve Spurrier trusts Tommy Beecher enough to look downfield. That's a scary thought to me.
What?
That might tell you how bad Will Proctor really is.
this is true.
Yeah,
I think this is
but I
kind of
still
getting.
can't blame Will.
I think this is kind of getting lost in everything. That why? I mean, is there something about Savell we don't know? I mean, why does he not get the backup call there instead of Tommy Beecher? I mean,
yeah, why doesn't Savell start warming up?
I don't know, but as soon as I noticed he was in the huddle and he was still wearing gloves, I was visibly shaken. I was just I was not looking forward to the Tommy Beecher era. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what's going on there, but there's got to be a reason that we don't know. I don't know what it could be.
Well, the thing is, if Blake Mitchell walked over the sideline and when they picked him up off the field, got over the sideline, and he basically said, "Look, I'm okay. Let me clear my head, and I'll go back in on the next play." I can understand why you put Beecher in there. But at the time, we all thought, okay, Beecher's going to come in, hand the ball off one time, and then it'll be over and done with. The fact that Spurrier still managed to call a passing play on that really does – it makes you question. I mean, it's weird. You think that, okay, if your quarterback's going to be fine, he's shaking the cobwebs loose, he's going to be back in a minute, why would you risk letting a quarterback who has thrown, one pass that was for a touchdown late against Middle Tennessee State in his entire career. Why would you put that on the line like that?
Yeah, why not put Savell in and run a QB draw if you know it's going to be one play?
Fastenau brought up that Savell had been playing safety all game, practiced there all week. Beecher took all the snaps as number 2 all week. But Savell didn't even really play that much at safety.
Right.
I mean, he was in there.
Definitely not as much as he did at Florida or something like that.
Right. So, I mean, it wasn't a matter of him being fresh, or I guarantee you he still knows all, all the plays that would have been called.
But I think that's one of the reasons why you put Tommy Beecher in there. It's for the element of surprise, because Clemson says, okay, he's going to come in and hand off for 2 plays at the max, and that's going to be it. I didn't even think he was going to get the 1 playoff because they called timeout. Beecher called timeout immediately, and I'm thinking, all right, Mitchell comes right back in. But Beecher stays in, and he doesn't hand the ball off. Say that a safety is looking for the run on that play. You take that chance of, maybe C.J. Gaddis cheating up and throwing it over the top with Tommy Beecher. Because, Beecher's not a bad passer. He doesn't know the offense as well as Mitchell does.
But if you're looking to catch Clemson off guard, wouldn't you agree that Savell Newton would be the better option?
No, because they know what to expect from him.
Well, no, you could be
I don't
a draw,
think you ever know what to expect from Savell. Savell's a quarterback that could run or pass without handing the ball off.
But when you have a guy that is that much more athlete than he is quarterback, it's hard to ask him to come in and throw a strike on his first pass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got a Tommy Beecher who's been warming up all day, who's been throwing passes, who's been getting ready, and is prepared to go in there. Savell, is in the defensive, frame of mind, and who's to say he doesn't throw a pick 6 in that situation?
But I would have had more faith in Savell.
And
personally.
I think your initial point was what happened to Savell? Like why is he not, like, when he's only playing five plays at free safety? Why
he played more than that?
I know, but when he's not getting the time, why can't you find a spot for Savell on the field?
Like that the pass to Mo Brown in the end zone. No doubt in my mind, Savell catches that ball.
Whether he's been practicing at wide receiver or not, like Savell Newton is a playmaker.
Well, the thing is that they've put a defensive mindset on Savell now. They've said, look, if you're gonna make it now, you're gonna make it as a defensive player in your last couple games. I think you've got to give guys like Mo Brown a chance to catch that football. Because if you don't give them a chance to catch that football, then they'll never know if they can catch that football.
But there's always next year for Mo Brown.
Well, and then who's to say that in that situation he doesn't catch it this year? I mean, he could have easily just as much caught that ball as he could have dropped that ball.
I think it's
in this situation, he dropped it. Next year, who's to say he doesn't catch it because of the fact he had the opportunity to catch it in this year's game?
I think it's one thing to give players a chance, and I think it's another thing to give your team a chance. And I think if you're trying to win football games, you put your best players out on the field. And I think Savell Newton is a better wide receiver than Mo Brown.
I think that they've pretty much proven that they don't need Savell on offense to move the ball at this point.
Yeah, but do you think that it wouldn't help if Savell was a receiver? I mean,
that's like saying,
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it would hurt the defense if Savell wasn't on defense right now.
I think he could do both. He's not playing 100. He's not playing full time on defense.
That's a tough thing to do, to play both ways in the SEC, man.
But you just said he's a pure athlete. Like, that's what I mean.
Yeah, but you have to look. You have to measure it out. You say, okay, what's the benefit he can bring the offense if I have him go both ways, and what's the benefit he can bring to our defense if we leave him over there, let him learn the position. And the thing we're not talking about is that Savell wants to play defense at this point. He doesn't want to go back to offense. I really think that Spurrier kind of burned a bridge with him when he pulled him at quarterback and let Blake stay there, because he doesn't want to play offense at this point. Well, he wants to play somewhere and play there consistently so he has a shot in the NFL.
No, but in the NFL, I think he's going to be a receiver.
But he's not going to play receiver right now. And, yeah, and
no,
that Achilles has slowed him down.
Before this year, they were scouting him as a receiver, like going into this season. At the beginning of the year, what was that game when they brought in Smelly? Was it the Georgia game? They just threw that little bubble screen to Savell like 8 times in a row.
6 times, yeah.
After that, I read I think it was on ESPN.com that Savell's stock as wide receiver was going way up before he went to quarterback. So I think ultimately he'll end up as a wide receiver in the NFL. I mean, I think he can play wherever he wants to play. Obviously not quarterback, but if he wants to do safety.
If Seneca Wallace can play quarterback in the NFL,
that's true.
Savell's got a shot to be at least a backup.
That's a very good point.
So
I don't know. I think at any given time, if you can have a better player on the field, he should be on the field. And I think at wide receiver, if you can have Sidney Rice, Kenny McKinley, and Savell Newton line up, that's a better combination than Sidney Rice, Kenny McKinley, and Mo Brown. So that's just my opinion.
Following that exact same logic, though, of that you need the best players on the field, why is Reggie Merriweather standing on the sideline? When you need a guy who has obviously, as you said, 2 carries for 17 yards, which by anybody's standards is pretty good.
Tommy Bowden is a terrible coach.
Tommy Bowden is a terrible coach.
That's why Reggie Merriweather's on the sideline. Because really, Reggie.
But obviously, Savell Newton staying on the sideline did not potentially cost Carolina the ball game.
We don't know that.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't know that, but you can't. You could say you could say Reggie Merriweather comes in and on the next play that whoever took that handoff, that he doesn't break it loose for 10 yards or break it loose for 6 points. But you've got him standing on the sideline. You send Jadid in, he misses the field goal. Who's to say that Reggie Merriweather doesn't get that first down? Who's to say Reggie Merriweather doesn't pick up a little bit better block on Jasper Brinkley? Who's to say that,
Right,
whatever.
exactly.
So you've got a situation where you've got 2 guys who are both equally, you could say, valuable to the team. They both bring something to the table that could help the team, and both of them are standing on the sideline, and it costs one team something, and it doesn't cost the other team something. That's going to happen no matter who wins that ball game.
But I think, and one is, I'm in no way saying that Spurrier is as bad a coach as Tommy Bowden. I think that the Reggie Merriweather decision is completely on Tommy Bowden. And, I mean, Reggie got hurt earlier in the season against North Carolina, and he hadn't really done anything up to this point. But when he comes in and has 2 carries for 16 or 17 yards, you leave him out on the field. The thing is, I think at the running back position, when you have C.J. Spiller and you have James Davis, they both almost had – C.J. had finished with like 956 yards. So you got 2 guys who are 1,000-yard backs. The third running back gets a little lost, but a third wide receiver is a different story, in my opinion.
I would just like to see Savell on the field more. Period.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to.
I mean, if it's at safety, if it's at running back, wide receiver, offensive line, I don't care. Savell needs to be out on the field, basically. I mean, he carried this team through one of the toughest stretches of the season.
He's obviously out on the field at the right place at the right time because, in my opinion, from what I saw on that play, if Jasper Brinkley does not get Will Proctor, Savell Newton does.
Right,
so he was
definitely.
obviously on the field at the right time. That was the play he was meant to play. He wasn't meant to play offense in that game.
Well, nobody touched him, first of all. I mean, if that was Chris Hampton would have been at the same place,
Right.
So I'd rather Savell play receiver, but I also don't see him in practice every day, so I don't know.
That's true.
That's true. But I don't know. It seems like there has to be more to this than just – you think that's what Hilliard thinks that it's just because he doesn't want to play offense, but I don't know. I mean, that would make sense. It would be Savell's, position to do that, but it just seems like he should. If he wants to play, if I'm Spurrier, I'm letting Savell play as much as he wants wherever he wants. But I'm not Steve Spurrier, and I don't get paid millions of dollars, so
that's a good point.
Just hundreds of thousands.
Right.
Not quite millions.
There you go.
Next on Capital City Sports, the USC Athletic Department unveiled their master plan for the improvement of athletic facilities. We'll tell you what to expect in the next few years and go one-on-one with some of USC sports' finest. All that and more coming up on Capital City Sports.
Hi everybody, I'm Drew Zalitas, and are you sick of all these dull, rusty knives? Yeah! And are you sick of these crazy kitchen utensils no one can figure out how to use? Yeah! And are you sick of the muck and the grime sticking all over your cookie sheets? Yeah! Well then, do I have a product for you. It's the all-new Your Show on SGTV. Every Tuesday at 8:30, we put brand new films made by students right here on USC onto TV for all of you to watch. Now, is that going to knock the crap out or what? Yeah! All new Your Show every Tuesday at 8:30. Yeah!
the Southeastern Conference is one of the most competitive, if not the most competitive conference in the country. So it's imperative that you make the proper presentation. We need to be able to do that.
Last week, the USC Athletics Department took a glimpse into what's to come. The new master plan for athletic facilities has fans buzzing about the future of Gamecock athletics. With an audience of media members not knowing what to expect, Athletics Director Eric Hyman introduced the future of Gamecock athletics earlier this month. With the help of architectural firms, Hyman outlined plans for the renovation and construction of facilities from the Roost District to the football stadium. The most immediate of constructions would be a baseball stadium that is scheduled for completion in 2008.
The potential and the possibilities of what this site could be for baseball. The site was spectacular. And now it's beginning to crystallize, and you're going to see a fantastic facility for baseball. And so really the first phase of this is our long-range master plan is baseball, and we're right in the middle of the project.
The stadium would comfortably hold 10,000 fans, according to HOK, the architectural firm working with USC on the project. The main entrance of the stadium will be built at the corner of Williams and Wheat Street, just off the Congaree River. From behind home plate, spectators would have a view of the Columbia skyline and, in the future, USC's Inna Vista. Unique features of the stadium include a victory tower at the main entrance that would be lit following USC wins, and an outfield berm that would serve as alternative seating. Baseball coach Ray Tanner is excited about his team's new $24 million home. Coach, you've had this idea for a couple of years now in your head. What's it like to finally get to see something on paper?
Well, it's very exciting. I mean, we're moving forward now, and just a little bit over a year, we'll be playing in one of the finest facilities in the country, and it's great for our fans, for our players, the city of Columbia. So we're ecstatic.
There was kind of some back and forth as to where the location was going to be. What do you think out of the final location there?
Well, you always hear that good things are worth waiting for, and this site took a little time to get there, but it is the best. Dr. Sorensen played a major role in that, and you couldn't pick a better site. We're down by the river. There's going to be so much energy there, so it's a home run, no doubt.
Athletic Director Hyman said that max capacity, it would be about 8,100 for a big weekend series. You guys have had a little bit of problem packing everybody in for a series like an LSU, like a Florida. What's it like to have that at your disposal here in the future?
Well, that's going to be great. And 8,100 is a realistic number that could be somewhat comfortable. But I can envision maybe 10,000. The concourse wraps around the entire stadium, so we can pack them in everywhere. And so my goal is to go in excess of 10,000 on a few occasions.
Reese Havens says you guys can keep that victory tower lit pretty consistently. How do you feel about the team coming up?
He's a guy between the lines, so you got to defer to those guys. But we got a good group of players here, and Reese being a junior next year, along with some other guys that could be drafted, I'm really anxious to give them an opportunity to play in a new stadium before they leave the University of South Carolina.
How much benefit does this give you in recruiting? Now, not to just be able to say, hey, the new stadium's coming, but be able to show them this on paper and say, hey, it's just a year away.
Well, that makes a difference. There's no question about it. We've been working off schematic drawings for a couple of years now, but to be able to take them down to the stadium and then the press box and then the coaches' offices that overlook the field and the weight room, the batting cages, our amenities are going to be second to none. So is it the reason that student athletes make a decision to come to your school? Not entirely, but it does play a major role.
Coach, you've got another #1 recruiting class coming in this year. How do you feel about the way the team has just kind of been getting involved in school here and looking forward to the spring?
They've done a good job. They've shown a lot of maturity in fall practice. I think we're going to end up with a good semester academically, and we've improved as a team. And I think these guys understand what our mission is on the field between the lines, and we're going out in the spring and try to show people that we do have a great recruiting class and be one of the teams left standing at the end of the year.
Coach,
thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right, we're here with sophomore shortstop Reese Havens of the Gamecocks baseball team. Reese, what did you think of what they had for you?
It's impressive. It's kind of nice seeing that right now, and seeing what you have to look forward to next year. And I think it'll be great for the players, the coaching staff, and be a good recruiting tool for us.
Well, you mentioned recruiting tool. Obviously, USC is doing a pretty good job of recruiting as it is with the facility you guys are in. How much of an improvement from what you guys are in right now did the new stadium look like?
If I put myself in the shoes of recruits and came and saw that stadium, I'd be impressed, and give me every reason to come here. Not only is have a great baseball program already, but just playing in that facility is something special.
What did you think of the Victory Tower idea?
I think that's pretty cool. I feel we can light it up a few times.
Think you can keep that thing lit all season?
Yeah, hopefully. That's the goal.
Athletic Director Hyman mentioned, he's really looking forward to making that trip out to Omaha. How do you feel about your chances this year?
We're always expected to go out to Omaha. I think, we've pretty much established being that kind of team, and that's people's expectations for us, and that's our expectations for ourselves. So, we're excited about that.
Coach Tanner brought in another #1 recruiting class in the country. How are the young guys fitting in so far?
Good. They're growing up quick, and they look good through fall inter squads, and we're excited about all those guys and all our junior college guys. We're feeling pretty confident coming into the season.
Reese. Thanks, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Have a good one. After completion of the baseball stadium, the athletics department will prioritize their other projects. One of these projects is the reconstruction of the Roost area. The new Roost would begin on the north side with a renovated soccer stadium and field house. Moving south, the current location of Sarge Fry Field would be replaced by an athletics horseshoe made up of offices and possibly an athletics hall of fame. Also placed in the vacant spot would be a synthetic field for a proposed women's lacrosse team and a new indoor-outdoor tennis complex. Finally, 2 full-size soccer practice fields, a renovated softball stadium, and a renovated track and field complex would line the south end of the Roost district.
When you walk there, you're going to have a feel, you're going to say, hey, this is the University of South Carolina. This is the athletic department. And we want to be able to sell. We want a young person to be able to fulfill their academic dreams and their athletic dreams. And to be able to recruit the best and the brightest, you have to make the proper presentation. And this is what we're trying to do for our University of South Carolina athletics.
Also outlined in the master plan were additions to Williams-Brice Stadium. With a project cost estimate of $73 million, the additions will include a new north end zone with club and upper deck levels. The project would also include a third-floor addition to the Cruz football building for administrative purposes and a new concourse under the west side of the stadium. Junior offensive lineman Webb Brown talked about the new plans. We're here with junior offensive lineman Webb Brown. Webb, what'd you think?
I think it was a really, really good presentation. They went through the blueprints, concepts of what Coach Hyman really wants to do here the next 5, 10, 15 years, like he said. And as a student athlete, I think it's a great conceptualization of what he wants to do here. It really focuses on trying to tie in, the architecture, the feel of Carolina into our athletics program. And so I think that's going to be a successful aspect of it, and it's going to help us recruiting down the road.
Well, a major part of his presentation was the facility over at the Roost with the athletic horseshoe. Right. Looks like a beautiful setup down there. What were your opinions of that?
I was just really impressed. I really liked the way he tied in, like I said before, the aspects of the horseshoe versus, or along with our own version of the horseshoe. And just seeing the new facilities that are going in place, the new sports medicine and academic building, that's something that we need really badly right now. And to see it in that format it's really great, and I can't wait to see in person one day.
He was real careful to say that these are concepts and it's not the final product, but looking at those additions to Williams-Brice that put you guys up around 90,000 in a state-of-the-art type of facility. Can you imagine, what the guys playing in that stadium are what kind of experience they're gonna have?
Yeah, they're gonna get to experience something that guys in my class and maybe a couple of years after them aren't gonna get to. I would think that it's gonna be really loud at the games now, kind of closing it in just a little bit. I think it's going to be a little bit more competitive in the SEC. And you look at other stadiums. I've had the opportunity to go to a few other stadiums, and I've always said, if we can just close in that end zone, it would be sweet to play here. I think, if a high school recruit came in and just looked at that stadium, they'd be like, wow, this is great. I used to live in Buffalo, going to a Bills game, and we have more fans here at a game than the Buffalo Bills do. So. It's just really exciting to see that might get closed in. And then also underneath it, they were talking about some open air space there, maybe like a Hall of Fame. That would be really nice to see, kind of just look back and, the history of Carolina and see who the greats were that played here.
So you're gonna have your name on one of those suites there, you know, kind of get dibs on it there?
I don't know. Depends on, if I, catch a ball, or a fumble recovery for a touchdown, win the Heisman or something. Maybe they might dedicate something to me.
Well, hey, you're a smart guy. You just fork over the bucks and they put your name on the suite.
I'm getting a business degree, so maybe that might help me out. But I don't know. It's really exciting. I'd like to come back and sit in one of those suites one day.
All right, guys. Junior offensive lineman Webb Brown. Webb, thanks for your time. Next on Capital City Sports, the USC hoop season is in full swing. We'll tell you how the team is doing and let you know what to look for in the coming weeks. Don't change the channel. There's much more to come on Capital City Sports.
At this point, I'm totally comfortable with my team. I told Eric Hyman I was gone now. He was asking me last week. He said to me, what do you think about your team? And I said, I'm worried. He said, why? I said, because I like my team, and I don't usually like them this time of the year. I mean, I like them as kids, but I don't like my team. I got a lot of work to do with them. We do have a lot of work, but I like this team.
After an early loss to UC Irvine, the USC Hoops team is on a winning streak. For more analysis on the team, let's go to the Capital City Sports Talk guys, Matt Moore and Tom Benning.
Anyway.
You want to talk some Carolina basketball?
Yeah, some Carolina basketball. They beat the Citadel last night, right? That was last night by 15? Yeah, 15, yeah. 74-59.
They trailed. They trailed 47-43 with just under 13 minutes to go.
Whew, I'm struggling with this Gamecock basketball business. Your boy Dominique, though, playing very well. He had 16 and 8,
coming off a double.
Coming off his first career double.
Granted, against Lipscomb and the Citadel.
Right. Yeah.
But
Lipscomb.
I mean, what are your guys' opinions on the season so far? I know we kind of got into a bit of an argument last show about what our expectations for this team should be, and in my opinion, this is just validated what I was thinking earlier.
Well, I mean, everybody's talking about Lipscomb. I was at that Lipscomb game, and that team, there's a couple of ESPN magazines that've got our ESPN sites that have got the bracket for
right,
the future,
65,
and they're in the bracket,
right.
They're in
what
an
conference
NCAA
are they
team.
in?
I have no idea.
Are they Belmont?
Yeah,
Belmont.
something like that. I mean, they really were a decent team. I mean, they're not going to beat the #1 team in the country by any stretch of the imagination, but they'll put up a good fight. I think we talked about this last time, how it's just one of those things. It's how can you lose to UC Irvine, but then you go in on a night against Southern Cal that everything says they should win, and then you win. It's unexplainable. The real test is going to start to come when we play Clemson.
That game's on Saturday.
That game is on Saturday. Now the game next Tuesday is going to be really interesting. That game against College Charleston with Bobby Crimmins coming back into town.
Right.
That's going to be a real interesting game. But then after that, got a couple more cakewalks. Then you start getting to the Kansases and the Floridas of the country, and that's when things really start to heat up because obviously Kansas is a pretty good basketball program if you can beat the Gators. I was very impressed with that. So that's when I think the real test of the season as to how good Carolina's going to be is how well they play Kansas. They don't have to beat Kansas; they just have to hang with Kansas for 99.9% of the game.
Right,
until
even
the final
playing
buzzer,
well against Kansas would be kind of a nice little propel
right.
into the conference season.
Right.
But since we're talking about the basketball, you want to do a little preview of the Clemson game. I haven't seen Carolina play, but I have seen Clemson play a few times, and Tom actually got to see him over the break. Tom, what were your impressions of the Clemson team? Granted, they were playing Charleston Southern.
Well, I mean, I really was. I can see where they have the potential to be good. They have a lot of inside presence. It looks like in streaks they could be, pretty close to unstoppable if their shots, if their threes are going in, basically.
Right.
But I mean, they also look very vulnerable. At Charleston Southern, I mean, geez, what was the score with
14 minutes to go, it was a 1-point
Yeah,
game.
but even at the beginning of the game, it took almost a half for Clemson to get 10
Charleston
points.
Southern scored 2 points in the first 12 minutes.
But Clemson only had 10.
It was 10-2 with 8 minutes left in the first half or something like that.
So
then Brian Hill came and both teams started scoring. It was
they're definitely a streaky type team where either they're probably hitting everything or they're missing it all. So I think it'll be a good game. I don't know what to think about Carolina. I haven't seen them in person, but just looking at the results, I think their win over Southern Cal isn't necessarily – I mean, obviously it's a win over a Pac-10 team, but, I mean, who knows what Southern Cal is? I mean, I don't know. It should be interesting. I think it'll be a good game, though.
Fellas, y'all got anything about the Clemson game?
Well, you said that Clemson's one of those streaky teams. Well, Carolina's also one of those streaky teams.
That's true.
So this could really be one of those games. It's who has the better streak, who has the streak where they make one more three, or they miss one less three, whatever that comes down to, So this could be really interesting as to which team gets that streak going just long enough to beat the other team. But if that's the way it's going to be, then it should be a pretty good basketball game.
Right, and I mean, not having seen Carolina play, I do understand that they don't have much of an inside presence.
Right.
I mean,
I watched Clemson play
Brandon
against.
Wallace is a good player, and
it's just
Dominique Archie. I don't think he's an inside guy. Like, who do you have on the inside?
You've got nobody on the inside.
For Clemson, you've got James Mays, who
right.
I can't even remember if he played against Carolina last year. Was he or was had he been?
I don't think he did.
So he hasn't played. Carolina hasn't seen him yet, and you've got freshman in Trevor Booker, who's gonna be a solid player. He set a freshman record at Clemson for dunks in a game with 6. So
whoop-de-doo.
I mean,
get him a plaque.
He's an inside guy that Carolina's gonna have to prepare for. So I think that's what it's going to come down to. If Carolina can play at all on the inside with Clemson, then they should be in good shape.
The thing about Carolina that you got to like about it, though, is that, Clemson may have the inside dominated, and that will come up big on the rebounding end. The problem is that everybody for Carolina can step out and shoot a three. Even Wallace has been known to step out and shoot a three. And he's supposedly your center or your post player. So with that in mind, I mean, you can give up the inside, and you can give up, a rebound or two here or there. You can give them – a 20 to 30 rebound edge. But if you're knocking down threes and jump shots from the outside, they won't even have a chance to get the rebound. So it's like I said, it's a question of who gets the better streak. I watched Clemson play on Fox Sports against Mississippi State.
Right, yeah.
And
I was at the game.
They had what was that kid? 23 kid for Mississippi State. I can't remember his name now, but he was just dunking and just going all crazy on the inside.
Their center,
he made them look exceptionally vulnerable in the post, which I thought was pretty impressive because I think he's a pretty young kid. I think he's only like a sophomore.
They had him last year. He came to Columbia last year.
Did he?
I can't remember.
I don't think he's been there. I think he might be a sophomore or junior. He's not very.
I can't remember.
But I did get to see that game. But Clemson shoots the three exceptionally well. They take jump shots exceptionally well, and they do the little things right. But like you were saying about the streak, that's what it comes down to, as to who gets the better streaks.
Yeah, and one thing I look forward to is in any college basketball game, when you get to watch 2 senior point guards go at each other. That's because that the point guard is going to be your leader and the senior is going to be your leader. So to have 2 guys in Trey Kelly and Vern Hamilton go at each other, that should be a pretty good matchup too.
Broom, thoughts?
I agree with pretty much everything Riley said. I mean, at one time you can have Trey Kelly, Bryce Sheldon, Dwayne Day, Evka, my boy. I mean, you can have 7 guys on that team that can play. They can all hit a three. Brandon Rayleigh Ross. So, I mean, if the threes are falling, they can play with anybody. But if they're not, they can lose to anybody, like UC Irvine, for example. So, I mean, It's gonna be. It could be a long year. Is what I'm saying. Basically.
Right.
If the shots aren't falling,
it
could be rough.
Well, when I look at that Southern Cal game, I see Bryce with 22 points.
Yeah.
If that's what it's gonna take to win games like that, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know either.
I don't know if you can depend on Bryce for 20 a game.
Especially when we're getting out rebounded by like 10 a game. Like, even the Citadel, I don't know if they finished with more rebounds than us, but they definitely, for most of the game, they were out rebounding us by 5 and 6, boards. I mean, if they don't make shots, then we're gonna be in trouble. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they ended up out rebounding us 34-32.
34-32. So that was from the Citadel game. Citadel is 2-6, so really, I mean, not a.
That was at the Citadel though, so you got to give them the home court advantage.
Yeah, for
exactly.
the Citadel.
The
I'm sure they filled it up too.
Why not?
On their little high school gym down there.
Well, that's all for this edition of Capital City Sports. Don't forget to tune into the Capital City Sports Talk Show every Tuesday from 4 to 6 on WUSC 90.5 FM. Tune into the TV show every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on SGTV. I'm Jonathan Hilliard. You've been watching Capital City Sports.
This is the kind of immaturity and unprofessionalism that was associated with SGTV years ago. And it's not going to happen again. I will take away keys. Okay, this is not funny.
Hey, Drew.
Why are you smiling? This is not funny. This is a waste of student television fees.
We paid for it.
Out of your own money, you paid for this.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, what about the air?
The air?
Yes, the air that costs money. I was away doing a good TV show, and you guys come in here and f*** up my office. If it's not cleaned up by 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to come back and take pictures, and there's going to be hell to pay.
Did you get all that? Every second. Good.
I wasn't mad. Come on, guys. I was pretending to be mad.
See you on VH1, asshole.
Come on, guys. Oh, f*** me.
Hi, everybody. I'm Drew Zalitas. And are you sick of all these dull, rusty knives? Yeah! And are you sick of these crazy kitchen utensils no one can figure out how to use? Yeah! And are you sick of the muck and the grime sticking all over your cookie sheets? Yeah! Well then, do I have a product for you. It's the all-new Your Show on SGTV. Every Tuesday at 8:30, we put brand new films made by students right here on USC onto TV for all of you to watch. Now, is that going to knock the crap out or what? Yeah! All new Your Show every Tuesday at 8:30. Yeah!